on this just in. Legs, who put in the legs work and carried their team to victory over the weekend. Who legs? There's Devin Booker. Devin Booker put in some legs work. Legs, what you got on Book?
I got a guy that I think it's past time we start to just regard this guy as a true star in this league. I just don't think he gets considered on that level, and he deserves to be there. This is his 23rd 30-point game of the year, and he does it every night efficiently. He just doesn't get enough credit. He's a legit star.
Is he a five-star player, meaning MVP level, or something less than that?
He should be in that category, but he's not because the team gets too much credit for how well they play together. It's amazing the way it hurts guys. There's another two guys last night. You want to look up a perfect basketball game? You will never find one, but as close as you're going to find was the first half last night. Boston played perfect offensive basketball for an entire half. And when these two guys play efficiently like this, Boston is a legitimate title contender. They got a lot of help with their role players knocking down threes as well. And Bron, what can you say about him? I was there the night he had 56 against Golden State. That started this scoring spree that he's been on. The irony is he doesn't want to be considered an elite level scorer, and yet by All-Star game next year, roughly, he will pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and be the all-time leading scorer in the history of the league. And this is a guy that wants to be considered a guy that sets the table for other people more than anything else. That's the irony with LeBron James going on this scoring run. And the other thing is, he would much rather be winning games and not scoring as much, believe me.
Yeah, maybe he's going for the scoring title now because that's what's left for him unless AD gets healthy and some miracle happens. So he passes Karl Malone over the weekend for second place on the all-time scoring list. And you're right, he's actually like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson had a baby, right? He's looking, the Magic side of him wants to pass first, but he's such a physical phenomenon that he scores. Like he can't even help it. Is that what's unique about him as a scorer?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he processes the game more like a Magic Johnson, more like a guy that wants to read the floor, make the game easy, but he's such a physical force that he understands the best opportunity to score for his team oftentimes is him taking advantage of whatever matchup he has. That, and look, you're not supposed to do this when you get this far into your career. This game tears your body apart. You're not supposed to be able to put up these kind of scoring numbers with this kind of mileage on your legs. It's a testament to his conditioning and the amount of money he spends on his body to preserve himself to this extent. We've really never seen anything like this.
Wow.
And like I said, he doesn't want to be doing this right now. He doesn't. He'd much rather get 20-25, help from AD, help from Russ. Let's be a contender. He's trying to just get this thing across the finish line into a play-in situation by scoring 30, 35 a night. It's really remarkable.
Him doing this at this age with the miles on his leg came straight out of high school, right? More NBA mileage than Kareem, for example, handling the ball, etc. He's in unprecedented territory like Tom Brady in football. We've just never seen this before. The 76ers, led by as many as 16 on Sunday and lost a close game to the Raptors. It's their second time in March, blowing a 15-point lead. Things weren't so sunny in Philly yesterday. Doc Rivers was quoted after the game saying, "We just got our butts kicked." Legs, do the Sixers have a problem with their late game identity, and will that come back and haunt them in the playoffs?
Yeah, they better get away from this Harden-centric way of playing in the fourth quarter. This isn't James Harden in Houston. It's not that group of guys. You've got Joel Embiid on your team, who I still think, and he's barely holding on to this award at this point, but I still do think he's got his hands around the MVP award. The ball has to go into Joel Embiid first in these big moments and play off of that, or at minimum a two-man game. I mean, look at these isolation sets. Right there, Boucher sees that charge coming, from 30 feet. He's there waiting on James Harden because he's playing that same style of high ball screen or ISO every trip in important moments. They had 14 points in the fourth quarter. He personally had 4 turnovers during that stretch. And by the way, here's, I think, the biggest number for the night. Tyrese Maxey, an up-and-coming emerging player that I think can be an all-star in this league, had 1 shot in the fourth quarter. It was a meaningless dunk with 8 seconds to go. You just can't operate that way offensively. He's too important. Their lack of ball security and the predictability of their offense is a problem. When you start playing these elite defensive teams, they're going to see. And Toronto is a very good defensive team, but they're not on the level of Miami, who they see tonight. They're not on the level of a Milwaukee when they dial it up. So these are the teams you're going to have to go through. And if you play that predictably, Philadelphia will be going home early.
Yeah, I mean, Harden, I hate to, I don't want to be on here killing him after a big game. He has to get his game up when it matters most. He's among the all-time greats when it doesn't matter as much. When it matters the most, his game slips. I don't want to sit here and say that. I hope he does whatever it takes to fix that. The Sixers play the Heat in a big matchup tonight in Philly, Legs. Now, this is addressing what you just brought up. The Heat are a mentally tough team. They get after it. What does this game tell you? What does the outcome of this game tell you about these teams?
This is much more important to Philadelphia than Miami. I need to learn something more about the Sixers. You have a bad loss at home to Toronto. When I say bad loss, it's not that Toronto's not a good team, because they've won 40 games. This is because of the way you operated down the stretch against that team. You now have to go right back and play what I think is the best and most versatile defensive lineup in the NBA. Can you bounce back and have a normal offensive night, an efficient night, and most importantly, if you find yourself in a one-possession game in the last 6 minutes, can James Harden rise to the occasion and make the plays necessary? And that doesn't mean having to ISO and having to shoot the basketball. It just means control the game. Whether you're at the line, you find an opportunity for yourself, or for me, more importantly, you make sure that Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey you are making the game easier for those guys the way that you were those first 4 or 5 games when you played together with Embiid. But in those games, they weren't playing any elite defenses. The elite defense is the better, tougher teams. They're the ones that are giving these guys problems right now. And that's why, to see them hum tonight, 115, 120 on the road against the Heat, that'd be a great sign for Philadelphia.
Smoke and mirrors don't work as well in the playoffs. That goes for all sports. You got to bring it. Thanks, Legs. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.